Let's talk about solving some systems from a story problem. So most of the systems we've seen up to this point, I should say all of them, have been just in terms of some set of functions, and they were given to us, and we solved to find our solution. This time, we're going to be given a real life situation, and we're going to set up a problem in order to solve for the unknowns in that situation. The first step would be to read the problem. From there, we define our variables. What are we really looking for? After that, reread the problem. That's going to help us turn the situation into a mathematical notation or an equation. After we have our equations, we can solve and make sure we reread the problem and answer the question at the end. We need to make sure our answers make sense. Here's our first of two examples. You and some friends decided to go see a movie. So I'm doing step one. I'm reading the problem. Luckily, your friend has a gift card to use on the concessions at Grand Theater. The concession signs are down, but the person working tells you that you can buy 2 popcorns and 2 drinks for $18 or 1 popcorn and 3 drinks for $16.50. How much does each item cost? Well, we got to define our variables. I'm going to use P for the price of popcorn and D for the price of a drink. And I should write price. So the prices of those items. Okay, I define my variable. Okay, after we reread the problem, so you can do that to yourself, we want to turn the situation into some sort of system that we can actually solve. So going back and reading, it says that the first option, so option 1, I'll just write option 1, was that I could get 2 popcorns and 2 drinks for $18. My second option was that I could get a popcorn and 3 drinks for $16.50, and I'll just write that as 16.5. We want to leave the notation as easy as possible. From there, we're going to solve. That's our next step. We've got a couple different ways to solve this. I'm going to use elimination. Okay. So I'll just make a note that I'm going to use elimination. Okay. Remember, in elimination, we need the variables to cancel out. So I'm going to multiply the second one by a -2 so that the p's will eventually cancel. When I distribute, -2p minus 6d equals -33. And I am adding that first equation. 2p plus 2d equals 18. Let's go ahead and do that. The p's will cancel. I get a -4d equals -15. When I divide out the -4, d equals 3.75. Now remember, d represents the price of a drink. Price is denoted using dollars and cents. So to answer the first part, the drink price is going to be $3.75. Okay, so there's one piece. I can use the price of a drink and substitute back in to find the price of popcorn. I'm going to use the first equation. I don't know the price of the popcorn, but I know the price of a drink is $3.75. So I'm substituting in the first equation, d equals 3.75. Okay. So I can distribute that, or excuse me, multiply that by 2. I get 7.5. When I subtract that over, well, 2p was going to equal 10.5. And dividing by 2, p equals 5.25. And again, to answer my question, p stood for the price of popcorn. So we're going to list it as dollars and cents, $5.25. Example 2. The steps are to read the problem first. The Hamilton family is going on a Florida vacation. The cost for a day at the amusement park is $550, and the cost for a day on a family cruise is $800. The budget for the Hilton family is $4,600 over 7 days. How many days should they spend at each place? Okay, so we're comparing the number of days at each place. So I'm going to let A represent the number of days at the amusement park. And the other location was a family cruise, so let's just use C for the number of days at the family cruise. Okay, so I defined my variables. Okay, I'm going to read the problem to turn the situation into some sort of mathematical notation. Okay, now there are 2 things happening here. First of all, I see money. So I know there's going to be some sort of equation for the cost. Okay, remember, if it's $550 per day at the amusement park, if I went there for 2 days, I would multiply that by 2. But we don't know how many days it's happening yet. So the cost for the amusement park would be $550 times A, the number of days. To get my total budget, I add 800 times the number of days on the cruise. And I know that the total money I can spend is $4,600. So there's my equation for the cost. Okay. They also told me that the entire duration of the trip is 7 days. Okay. So the trip in days is going to be, well, the number of days at the amusement park plus the number of days on the family cruise is 7. Their trip is 1 week long. So I now have my system of equations and I can solve. Last time we used elimination. Okay, this time I'm going to use substitution. Just to kind of balance things out. So in order to solve using substitution, I need to isolate a variable. So I'm going to get C by itself by subtracting A. I now have that C equals negative A plus 7. I can substitute what C equals in for C in that first equation. Going off to the side here, 550A plus 800C, where C is negative A plus 7, equals 4,600. So 4. Okay, 4,600. I can now distribute. 550A minus, after I distribute here, 800A plus 800 times 7 is 5,600, still equals 4,600. After I subtract, excuse me, not subtract, I'm going to combine my like terms to get a negative 250A. And I'm going to subtract my 5,600 over at the same time to get negative 1,000. I'm going to divide by negative 250, A equals 4. Okay, well, that means the number of days at the amusement park is 4. Using my original equation, A plus C equals 7, I know that A is 4 plus C equals 7, so C has to be 3. So the number of days at the amusement park is going to equal 4. The number of days on the cruise is 3. Those are my answers.